Hello everyone, good morning.
Good morning, Vikrant.
I hope you guys have some one question that why Vikrant is still taking the class, right? So yes, so Shrikant sir is actually traveling for some business project delegations. So maybe he will be back tomorrow. So some tomorrow onwards he will be able to take the class. So today in the meantime I wanted to cover one more topic. So that's why I just take this class. Okay, today I'm just going to show some other attractive concept and library of the Python. Will that be okay for you all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Vikrant.
Yep. So, yep, let's wait for another 2 minutes for people to join. So then we will continue. Yes, I think we will start. So good morning again. How are you all? I hope everyone are good. So yes, let me share my screen and we'll talk about our next topic. So before that, do you guys have any questions? Yes or no?
No, Vikrant.
Okay. So yes, then let me share my screen and we'll start with the actual topics. Okay, so what I wanted to share. So where is my PPT? Show all windows. Yeah. Yes. So can you guys can see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Today, okay, just go back. Yeah. So today I wanted to show one library of Python. So that is, so you guys can see the name, a Streamlit. So did anybody heard about this Streamlit library ever before? No, I guess said no. Okay. So this is actually the deployment library. So whatever the product, whatever the software you guys have developed, so it could be of any plot or it could be of any of the software. If you develop with that, so we need some front end, right, to execute that. So either you should to consult a front end team to do that by using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, NodeScript, all these technologies. You need to create some web app or some web pages. Then you need to deploy there and to make it usable by the users, right? So, but as a data scientist, how we can create a front end? So we need some good software, some good user friendly, right? So we don't want to learn any of the HTML, CSS, nothing like that. So without that as well, I wanted to create a front end application to showcase my software execution, how it is working. And I wanted to give some liberty to user to change some of the user input and to execute their code from the front end, not on the code level. So they don't want to run the Python script. They don't want like that. So if you really need in that way, so the Streamlit might help. Then it sounds good, right? So then what is Streamlit? So let's get into that. So then what is Streamlit? Streamlit is again open source Python library. It's a Python library. So that allows you to create a web applications for machine learning, data analysis, and other interactive data science tasks with else. Okay, so now you gotten a good understand. Now you gotten a good point that why we need this Streamlit. So if we need any web application or front end kind of things for deploying the data science models or data analysis or other interactive dashboards or data science tasks, if you need to showcase within a front end, the Streamlit might help on those lines. Then it is designed to simplify the process of building in a web-based tools and dashboards directly from Python script without requiring knowledge of web development language like HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript. So as I told, so it doesn't require any of the skill set of HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So without having that also you can create your web app. So by using only the Python knowledge. So for that, you should have a knowledge of Streamlit. So Streamlit is in a Python library. Just you need to import it and you should know how you can run the Streamlit library and Streamlit app from your console. That all I will show it within a small demo of those things. Okay, so as of now, we have not yet covered the data science and machine learning things, but we covered some data analysis part, right? So we can go ahead with that as well. So already we are in the phase of like visualization, some plotting and all. So let's see how we can do that, how we can plot it on the front end. This all we will cover it by today. Okay. So then what is the key features of the Streamlit? It's a simple API. It's a library. It's a simple API. So Streamlits provide a simple and intuitive API that allows you to create an interactive web apps using familiar Python syntaxes. You can use Python to define the structures, layout, and behavior of your web applications. What are the layouts available? What are the options we have? How we can do that? So we all can do all these things within a Python syntaxes only. Just you need to know what are the methods we have from the Streamlit libraries. This is what you should know, you should aware of. So anyhow, we have a keyboard shortcut something, right? You can press a dot and you can press a tab. You will get a methods available with that values. So I'll also show some good methods which is available within a Streamlit, like most commonly used methods to execute your Streamlit applications, right? So automatic updates in the sense if you make any changes on your code, so you don't need to rerun this code again. So if the server is already running in the backend, you just need to refresh that web app. Then what happens that all the changes will be shown over there. You no need to run the Python scripts again and again. Once you have executed, that's final. Then you can start developing it and start refreshing your web page. So those changes will be uh, replicated in your web app. Okay, and wedges. Streamlit includes a wide range of built-in wedges such as sliders, text input, select boxes, and buttons, which you can use to add interactive to your app. So if it is an app, we should have some features, right? Some drop downs, some sidebars, some text input. So it means so user needs to select what are the options, what is the text, and what is the numbers. So scroll up, scroll down, and buttons. So these features is much needed, right, in the front end applications. So like how you are going to use your any of the mobile applications, you can find these kinds of applications, right? Sidebar, if you click on the three dots, you will get in a sidebars. If you click on that cross mark, it will that sidebar gets closed. Front end will be available. You need to design within a front end with some good images. These all wedges is available within a Streamlit uh, methods. Okay, you can easily use the Streamlit method to explore all of these inputs. Okay, integration within a data science library. So Streamlit seamlessly integrated within a popular data science libraries like Pandas, Matplotlib, Plotly, and TensorFlow as well. TensorFlow is a very big model, language model, so which might you can use it for deep learnings. Okay, allowing you to easily incorporate data visualization, machine learning model, and other data analysis tools into your web app. So you can directly use these Python libraries, machine learning libraries into your Streamlit applications, and you can proceed with your operations. Okay, it means if you want to do any matplotlib like plotly operations or plot operations or data sets operation, data analysis operations. So these libraries will help in the Streamlit application. So you might can do that as well. Okay, so then deployment. So Streamlit provides a built-in functionality for deploying your web app to various platforms, including Streamlit sharing, Heroku, and AWS. So once you created your web app using a Streamlit applications, so Streamlit is also providing a deploy option that is actually paid one. You need to pay for something and you need to deploy it in any of the other platform like Heroku, Streamlit sharing, and AWS or any of the cloud. You can just deploy the complete package there and make it usable for all the global users, that application. So if you share that link, any of the link, so that link could be open in any of the system. Okay, this is how you can develop the applications. Okay, this makes it easy to share your projects with other or deploy them for a production use. So production use in the sense, so project will be saved it in a central place, so that project utilization or front end could be usable by any of the systems without planting the projects and all, because that project is already planted and deployed on the servers. So you need to just run the servers to make use of that. Okay, these are the key features of the Streamlit. So far, so clear? Any questions you guys have? Is this things looks interesting or getting bored? These topics actually the like what I can say are bonus topics. None of them was going to teach these things front end and all those things. So we are planning to provide all the end-to-end things. So that's why I bring this concept. So are you interested? Do you guys have any interest on these topics or getting bored?
Can you give us some demo on this?
Yes.
Is good.
I'll give the demo.
Please do.
Without demo, how you could get an interest or understanding of that?
Sir, will this replace HTML only or CSS and CSS
So you
too?
don't need any HTML, CSS, nothing. So okay,
Only.
so if you are a front-end developer, okay, you need an HTML, CSS and all to design the web app. But as a data scientist, why you need a web app? But we need some front end, right, to showcase all of these things. The same way we have some Streamlit. Okay, Streamlit is providing some default layout and default background, default structure for web app. Okay, those web app will be available within the same options only. But in the web designing, what happened within HTML, CSS, each and everything you need to develop within whatever the design you want, right? Those things will not available within a Streamlit. Streamlit will also provide some default layout, default environment. So you need to play around that only. But anyhow, we could get some front end, right? Without HTML and CSS. So here we are only doing a Python coding to get the front end as well.
Okay.
Yep. So you will get it. Like once I show the demo, you might get some good understanding of what is the difference between the HTML, CSS, and the Streamlit. Okay, then shall we go for a demo? Any questions? So still you have? Okay, we'll go for a demo then. So I'll just share that code. Let me reshare my screen again. Sorry. So can you guys can see my screen now? The VS Code.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, we can able to see.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So instead of running the notebooks and all, okay. So here I'm just recommending you to write the Python files. Okay, instead of using in a notebook, you can use Python files. So here I created two files. One file is for my operations, whatever the pandas operations which I wanted to show in the front end, those operations over here in the plotting, and app is nothing but to run the front end app. Okay, you can give any other names as well. I don't have any issues. So first file is in a plotting.py. So here I wanted to show some plots on the front end. So I think we are already in the visualization trainings, right? So I wanted some continuity on that. So you can say that it is uh, a data visualization, like how we can plot your chart on the front end to showcase to any of the clients or any of the users. So I wanted to showcase this one. So plots. So any of the plots, like I think you guys have already imported. So here also you can do that, importing the data and plotting that data as well. That is also possible. So you can just try that as well. So here I'm just defining a function that is a plot. What this function is going to do, it is just going to take some data. That is, you can see I'm just creating an x and y by default values it is. So instead of these x and y, you can just read the data and you can provide a x column and y column there. I don't have any issues. You can create that. So in the first line, what it is, so here it is a figure. Okay, I'm just defining in a figure. So it's a figure size. So the size should be come from the user. What should be your figure size? Okay, what is the line height and width? Okay, so that I give it as a parameter for the user that they can provide. Then x and y, that's okay. So plt.plot, I wanted to plot a line chart with an x and y axis. So you can see that line space and this x and y axis here, it is y is nothing but a sine of x. So you will get some curved graph. Okay, because the that is the behavior of the sine function. So if you know on the mathematics, we have a sine, cosine, tan, all of these things. So in the same way, we are going to convert these x values into a sine values. Okay, plt.plot of x and y. So x label, y label, title. So these three texts should also come from the user. What could be the x label, y label, and plotting things. So this is a customizable plot function for the user which we wanted to provide. It means user needs to provide what is the x title, y title, and what is the figure size, and then they can press a button like, yeah, just plot it in these features. So it is going to plot in that feature based on those features. How we can provide the user, how we can provide a control to user by using Streamlit, that we can show it. So before that, you need a Streamlit library. If you don't have the Streamlit library is not installed in your system, just go and type with the Anaconda, that is pip install Streamlit. Okay, Streamlit, just execute that line of code. It is already installed in my system, so that's why it is showing requirement already satisfied. Once you installed, you need to import it. So I'm just importing that Streamlit as an ST with the name of ST. I don't want to use this big name, so that's why I'm just calling this with an ST. Okay. So here, if you want to see what are the methods available with an ST, you can see once you press an ST, you will get all these things. Okay, you might get all of these things. So what is the use of these things and all? You guys needs to explore each and every methods. Okay, so now, so here it is a plotting function. So right, so I'm just using in a Python plot of figure, this figure. Okay, instead of doing in a figure dot show, what I'm doing, I'm just plotting that plot in the Streamlit layout. This is done. Function creation is done. Then I wanted to execute this function, right, with this Python file. So once I call this plot, this should execute. How I can call it? So this is how you can, like here I am calling this plot function. This is the way of calling the functions in the same Python files. Okay, if name is equals to main, then plot it. Okay, this is like once you created this file. Do you guys have any questions on creating this file? Save it, plotting the in the name of anything.
Sir, in the sixth line, we have given figure, comma, AX, but we didn't
Yeah,
use AX anywhere.
yeah, we are not using any AX. So it's a just a when you call the subplots. Okay, so the result will be giving it in a tuples. So there, this is going to give in a layout to axis and the figure. So that's why I'm just save it in the AX values. If you are not using, you can just leave it.
Okay, sir.
Yep. So because we need to map that figure to Python plots, right, within a Streamlit. So that's why I'm using. Okay, this is done. Now it's time to create a Streamlit app and Streamlit design. How we can create that? So in the same directory, you can create a Python file with the app.py. Okay, here also you can just import that Streamlit as st, and I'm just importing my plot function, that is from plotting. This from plotting function, plotting file. I'm just importing in a plot functions. Okay, I'm just imported this plot function. So here I'm creating in a what I can say function to execute my app, that is diff a main function. So st.title. So I wanted like just whenever you're going to create a front end, right? You should have some imagine, right? How should be your layout should look like. So I want a layout. I want to run my server with the name of plotting example with this text with this text. So st.title I am just going to give. So I am not going to give anything. Just I am going to execute that file. Execute my function. Okay, so I just created this function d of main. So inside of function, I just called st.title plotting example. Here I'm calling that function. That's it. Now we need to run this app. How we can run this? So you can just open any of the console or terminals. Okay. Come on. Okay, you can go to terminal. You can click on that new terminal. So here I have my terminal open. Uh, Navigate it to where your files are located. So my files is located in the document section, ML folder, advanced Python section. I have this plotting and app.py file both. Now I wanted to run this I wanted to run this app. How we can run this app? So first you need to call this Streamlit space run space app.py. This is the way of executing that application. So once you execute it, you can just press and enter. See, that server is get started and automatically that web page gets opened. So here we are created this one, right? Plotting example, the title which we are provided for our Streamlit application. So this is what you can say application layout. So you need to design whatever you want in this layout only. So in this layout, I just printed a text, the title that is plotting example. If you want to deploy it somewhere this package, so you can just do press and deploy and you can just follow their guidelines. Okay. We have this three dot as well to for setting this page and all. Okay. If you really wants to rerun, you can just rerun this page or you can just refresh this page as well. So this is what I said, right? So we
Sir,
have an
we are able
yeah.
to see only VS Code.
Only VS Code. No? Okay, I'll just start sharing my complete window.
So Vikrant, that port number 8501 is given automatically by the code, or how is it?
Okay, just a second. So I'll reshare my screen again. So can you guys can see my VS Code now again?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can see VS Code here.
Yeah, tell me your question.
The one question was that port number 8501 came automatically on its own, or how is that?
Code number 8501.
Yeah, the port is there.
Yeah,
Na?
port number, right? Yeah, this is the default port number of Streamlit. So Streamlit is
That's what I
going to,
wanted.
yeah, Streamlit is going to execute the server with this default port number with your local host. You no need to worry about that. Okay. So once you develop that, you need to call the Streamlit run app, Streamlit space run space app.py. So that server gets started. So it will automatically redirect it to your any of the default web browser. If it is not, you can just copy this link and paste it on any of the your web browser. But it is already started in my system. So you guys can see. So see, the server is already started in the local host 8501. So this is the default layout which you guys can see. So in this layout, you need to design, you need to plot whatever you want. And if you want to expect an input from the user, you can provide some drop downs, some checkbox, some text box, some whatever it is. In the backend, you can capture all the input which is provided by the user, and you can use those inputs for your plotting. Okay, so if you really wants to deploy it in somewhere in any of the web browsers or cloud, you can just follow their guidelines and you can deploy it. And here we have a rerun option. Without, if you make any changes on your code, you can just rerun it instead of running the Python script again and again. Okay, so now let's design this layout. Okay, so we have this plotting example. What else we need? So we need some sidebar, right? To provide some inputs. So if you want to create some attractive web app, so we need all of these things. So what I'm just imagine what is my imagination. So I wanted to create some sidebar. So that sidebar should accept the input from whatever the input users has provided, and the plot should appear in that customized format, like by accepting an x-axis, y-axis label, x-axis label, title, and size of the figure. So these could be customized by the user. Those options should come on the sidebar. This is what my imaginations of this web app, right? So let's do this by one. Let's do these things one by one. Okay, very firstly, I wanted to create a sidebar. So in HTML and CSS, what you guys are going to do, you are just going to create some HTML script to create a sidebar, and some designing you are going to create a CSS. But here, by default, it is going to create it within a sidebar method. Okay, so let's execute that line of code. Again, I'm going back to my app.py file because my core logic is ready. What needs to be print in the Streamlit application, that is ready. I don't want to touch that. So here I wanted to design the layout of the Streamlit. So here I just created a code to, come on, sidebar, that is st Streamlit dot sidebar. So in the sidebar we have a title, that is sidebar. So you need to have some text, right? Some heading for the sidebar. So that is what it says, st.sidebar.title. So in the title I wanted to print in a sidebar text. So again, I'm just saving this file, pressing the Control S. This is app.py file, right? So I'm not going to run this again. So I'll directly go to there and I'm refreshing this page, or I'm just going to rerun this. So here see, once your source code is changed, it is going to say that source file changed. So you need to rerun it. See, you get the sidebar of that. So you can just close it, open it, close it, open it. This is a default sidebar which is provided by the Streamlit. So this is the title which I provided. Okay. Now in this sidebar, I need a drop down. Let's say you have a multiple chart. Okay, let's say you have a three sort of chart. So you wanted to print the chart based on the user input. If user provided option 1, then you need to provide one chart. If user provided option 2, then you need to provide an other chart. Like say we have a sine function chart. So if you want to print in a cos function chart, how the cos should looks. If you want to provide a tan, so if you want to print those waves, you need some drop down box, right? How we can create it? So again, we'll go to our code file. So here you can see I just created a wedges of sidebar. So I'm just adding in a wedges. So this is what we are discussed in the very beginning. So we have so many wedges in Streamlit. Those you can see a select box. So here I'm not selecting in a select box. In sidebar, I'm just doing in a select box. You can also do the select box as well. But in this, I'm just doing in a select box in the sidebar. I wanted to have this select box in the sidebar. So that's why I'm just doing sidebar.select box. So in the select box, I'm just adding we need a heading for the select box, right? That is select an option. Just I'm telling the user to select the option. In the above the checkbox, I wanted to print this text. So next, what should be there inside of your select box? Home, option 1, option 2, option 3. Then by default, I'm just giving an index 0. It means if you are not selected any of this option, then default option should be home, right? This is what I'm just giving the comment in this way. These are the options. So later on, we are going to use these options for our later operations. Okay, so I wanted to see this select box is saving is what I can say uh selecting that options or not. I wanted to check that. Okay, with the line by line. Again, I'm just saving this file. I'm going back to that Streamlit application. I'll just give always rerun. Instead of me running the rerun, I'll just give always rerun. See, select an option. So this is what the text I provided. So now you can see by default, if you are not selected any option, it is directly selected a home page. So it means this is a home page. So whatever the application should be, we should have some home page, right? So that's why I have a home page as well. Option 1, option 2, option 3. So as of now, I have only one plot for sine function. So that I wanted to print on the chart if I selected option 1. If I selected option 1, what happened? That plot should appear over here. Okay. In the same way, if I selected option 1, so in the sidebar itself, I should have some input like user input that is accepting an X title, Y title, and whatever the inputs it is. And based on that, I wanted to print a plot. That is what my concept of this demo. Okay. So let's do that. Like how we can do that. So let me go back to that my Python file again. So here I told it, right? So you can use the Python syntax only to achieve whatever you want. So here I'm just doing the same things by using an if else conditions. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm just saying that. So anyhow, we have an option, right? Once you can just assume in this way. You can just assume in this way. If user selected as an option 1, then what happened? If user selected this option 1, what happened? This option variable is full like loaded with an option 1 string. Option 1 string. Whatever the string which they are selected, it is going to load it with those values. This option is going to load it with those values. Then what happened if option is equals to option 1? If user selected this option 1, what needs to be happen? So in the sidebar layout, I should have some slider. Okay, slider in the sense, if you like instead of you providing an integer values, what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to providing in a slider. Okay, you can just slide left and sorry, left and right, and you can select the values. So in this way, I wanted to select some integer values. What is this integer values? That is the select the height and width of your plot. Okay. So I'm just going to use the slider option for that. So I just created a two slider option in the sidebar, that is slider value 1, slider value 2. I can use the slider value 1 and 2, whatever the user selected values, into my height and width of the plot. Okay, so because my plot function is expecting in height and width. So this height and width I'm expecting from the user. So user can provide their height and width by sliding this sliders. Okay, left and right, they can select the values. So let's see how it looks. So I'm just saving this. So these sliders will be available. Okay, so I'm just closing this. I'm just opening, yeah, in the home. Okay, so this slider is not available over here. Why? Because only I provided a condition, right? If user selected option 1, then only those sliders should come. You can see this wedges, this is a slider. Okay, if you make it as an a 5 or 11, if you make it as an 11, okay, then what happened in the backend? So the values get selected as an 11 and 11. So here the values are get selected as an 11 and 11. Slider value is 11, slider value is 11. Okay, now let's so another three inputs which we needed, right? So 2 inputs are done for my plotting the plot. So X label, Y label, and plotting the title. So these are the text input. So we need to expect some input from the user, right? So how we can provide the text input? So here I have a code for that to give the text input. That is in the sidebar, I'm just expecting a text input. Text input. So 2 options you can provide. So you can provide that is a title of that your box, your input box, and inside by default text it is type here. It's just an input like by default typing. Okay. In the same way, I created a 3 input box. Okay, 3 input box. So one is having the values of X title, whatever you are providing, it is take it as an X label, Y label, and the title. Okay, that I need to provide it. So let's see whether those wedges is coming or not. So I'm just going there. So it is always refreshing automatically. So now I'm getting enter X label, enter Y label, and enter the title. So user can easily understand what is this means. What is this box about? So here you need to type whatever you want. You can just, so this is what like default text it is. You can just remove it and you can just type whatever you want. It is going to take that. Okay, this is what about the input box. So we'll accept all this input and we'll have some button. Okay, after you provided all the inputs, you can just have some button. If you press it, that button, that plot should appear over here. That is what we need it, right? So let's go to that and do that things. So how we can add a button? So yep. So if you like how we can add the button. So you can just see here. So that is st.sidebar. We have a button, like how we have a text input, how we have a side like a slider. In the same way we have a button method. So you can use st.sidebar.button. So inside of the button, what should be your text? That should be a plot. The button should have having the text value of plot. Okay, if I press that, if user presses that button, what should it return? So in the slider, like I should write a button clicked, it means successfully executed. I can say that successfully executed. Okay, after printing this message on the web page, I wanted to plot that. So PLT. So what are the inputs which I am giving to that plot? So what are the inputs which I already got by this method? Okay, so those values only I am providing. Slider value 1, slider value 2, X label, Y label, and the title. So these are the variables which I provided. So in the same Python way only you can provide. Instead of using an input function of the Python, you are just using a Streamlit ST by using their wedges. Okay, I'm just saving this. Okay, I'm just saving this page. I'm going back again. So you can see we have this plot button over here. Okay, so let's try that. So providing some inputs. Okay, I'll just give my height of this plot is 7 and width is also 7. Okay, enter the X label could be I'll just provide X label only. Y label could be Y label only. Okay, so then title would be plotting sine function. Plotting sine function. Okay, so yes, I'm done with my parameters, whatever the input it is. So if I click on the plot, then come on, successfully executed. See, I got a message, right? Successfully executed. The plot will be appear over here. Okay, if you want a bigger size, you can just close it for time being. You can see that. And you can just have that in a bigger size as well. You can minimize it. So this is how you can create your dashboard. You can see this is the behavior of the sine function. The sine function will, a sine function curve is always in this way only. Okay, based on the x-axis. So you can see x label, y label, title could be plotting sine function, right? So you can again open the sidebar again if you want to change it, if you want to hide. See, I did it. I made the changes. I can print the plot again. Okay. Oh, okay. Then it is exchanged. This should be a width. This should be a height. Okay. So I changed this as a 17. Now you guys can see how this looks. Okay. This is how it works. Now, along with that, by default, okay, if I refresh this page, what happened? By default, it is taking in a home page, right? So to create an attractive dashboard, I should have like, let's say it's my new organization. I'm building this software, right? I should give some my introduction over in the home page. Always, all the web pages from the home page, they can give their introduction. They are doing some their advertisement. I also do some advertisement, right? What I can do, I need to have some picture over here of my company or whatever it is. So it is my technology, right? So I wanted to have some technology plot over here. How we can add an image into that page? So that is also possible once I click this home. So only home button, only home page I need it, not for all the page. I need it for only for home page. How we can do that? So let's go to that code again. So I'm just having a condition again here. If user selected it as in a home page, then st.image. So I'm not going within a sidebar, nothing like that. So in the home page itself, I'm just going to do st.image. You need to provide your image locations. So this tech.jpg image is placed in the same directory. So that's why I'm not provided any path. I just provided a file name, and the caption could be image caption and use column width as true. So it should be adjusted, like auto adjusted, right, with your screen and all. So that's why I provided these options. So that is what st.image options. I'll just save this file and just going back to that page. Always rerun. See, if I select right now by default, it is in the home page. It is printed. Image caption. So if you want to provide any of the caption, any of your company name or text, whatever it is, you can provide it. Or you can give your brief introduction about your company or your software, anything. Okay. This is how you can add the thing. So you need to customize it. So you can see if I selected option 1, then what happened? That image will not appear. Only it is going to give provide some inputs and all. You can just select it and plot it. I'm not provided by default inputs only I have provided. It is still running. So it is executed, it run. You can see this plot. Because the size and width I provided as a 50-50 based on that it is want to work. Okay. These are the wedges. So this is the good example which I got to showcase all the wedges. Wherever it is, wherever you want, you can call these methods and you can use it. Okay. So one more thing, you wanted to have some checkbox, right? So if you click on the checkbox, it needs to select the checkbox. Based on the checkbox, if you want to do any operations, you can do that as well. How we can add the checkbox? So here we don't need, there is no need of having a checkbox, but for simplicity, to showcase the demo, I'm just creating in a checkbox. How we can create the checkbox? Yep. Sidebar dot checkbox. So in the checkbox, so if you wanted to have any text, you can have that show or hide the data. So I'll just saving this file. You can just see that how it looks. Always rerun. Yeah. So now you can see we have this checkbox. So if you select, like if you check this box, if you selected this box, what happened? Here is some hidden data. So if you selected that, if you're not selected, it is not going to print. So how I made it? So here again, I just created an if condition. If you selected this checkbox, I need to write this text on the page. So otherwise, you can just replace with whatever you want. So in this way, you need to start designing by using the Streamlit. Okay. So instead of plot, so you can create a Python files for data analysis, like you can just use the data. So you can just use df.head. You can just print that as well on the layout without any issues. Data analysis also you can do that by selecting in a row, column, index, all these things you can just create in your own. Okay. So far so clear? This is what the beauty of Streamlit. So with a very minimal time, with a minimal effort, we developed this web app, right? For this dashboard creation. How it looks? Is that interesting?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you can start doing this one. I will share these two files and yesterday's outlier files with you all after this class. Okay. So you can start practicing on that. You can start designing your own template, own things. Okay.
Vikrant, you only ran this Streamlit run app.py. We didn't run that other file, plotting.python file.
So yeah. So that what the function we have on the plotting.py file? That is plot function, right?
Yeah.
So plot function I need to execute. Where I'm executing in the app.py only, I'm calling that plot function.
Achha. Okay.
So that's why that plot function is executing. Otherwise, how it is going to identify this is a function?
Okay.
So what I did, once you press the button, then I'm just going to call that function, plot function. That then only it is going to execute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a small doubt. Can you please go to plotting.py?
Okay.
Here is a 13th line common, sir, for all the plots py plot.
Yes.
Or
Python bar is common.
like if we want a bar chart or something, do we need?
Anything. You can use tst.py plot. So figure unit using. Okay. So you are changing pld.bar here, not here, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So you are just calling your layout. So this figure is a layout which we are created. You are calling that layout with all this plot within a Streamlit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yep. So in your free time, when you got bored, you can just give a try on that. Try to create some different dashboards, some accelerators, some useful accelerator. You can just think about, like, I think some of you have already a working professional. So try to create some accelerator, like how it will be helpful for your organization, and present it with your colleagues or wherever. Definitely it will set a good impression on you. That's the beauty of the Streamlit. As a data scientist as well, you can becoming a good presenter by creating this sort of things. Okay. How is this new things? Is this interesting?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's great.
Yes.
Then I'll take a pause now. So I'll share this file with you all by after this call. So maybe from tomorrow onwards, Srikanth will take care of statistics and machine learning algorithms. So after the completion of algorithms and all, again I will be back with some different concept. So until that time, have a great day. Take care. Bye bye.